Hi everyone, good afternoon. Eileen here from Allergy Superheroes. I'm starting this over because I wandered too far from my Wi-Fi. I just turned Wi-Fi off and I'm on broadband signal right now. So I'm going to start this just completely over, so I'll have one continuous video. Apologies if anyone saw the first part, but here we are. So welcome to the next round of the Allergy Superheroes epinephrine abuse experiments. I have been subjecting EpiPens to extreme conditions to see whether or not they still work, because even though I wouldn't personally subject EpiPens to this sort of conditions on purpose, it happens. People drop them, people, leave them in cars by accident, people leave them, they can get too hot, they can get too cold, all sorts of conditions. So I am working on finding out what happens. So as you may have seen before, I have already established that EpiPens that are subjected to the heat on the dashboard of a car, which I was able to record at up to 195 degrees, EpiPens subjected to that kind of heat fail to fire in more than half of cases, which is very important to know, very dangerous. But when do you leave your EpiPen in your car? Usually you don't do it on purpose. It's in a purse or a backpack or something and you leave it there by accident. Or if you happen to decide to leave it in your car on purpose, you have it in the glove box or something like that. Which it does not get quite as hot as in full sun on the dashboard. So I have conducted another experiment to find out what happens to EpiPens in extreme heat. I have 10 EpiPens in the glove box of my car right now. They are getting hot. When I checked it right before I started this broadcast, it was 126 degrees in there. There's also 10 more in my house, and those were also superheated, but they have come back to room temperature because I'm curious if there's any difference between the two. So I had originally planned to have the EpiPens heated every day for 2 weeks. It wound up being closer to 6 because the weather wasn't as hot as I wanted at first, and I just kind of let it go. So I've got 20 EpiPens to fire for you here today. 10, again, I'm going to fire while they're hot. They're in here, and the other 10 are in my house waiting for me. So I'm just going to pop into my car real quick and grab those EpiPens out so they're nice and fresh and hot, and then we'll go inside and we'll get this started. I personally have no idea whether this is hot enough to break them or if they're still going to properly work. So let me switch the camera here. As you can see, there are the 10 EpiPens, and that little blue round thing is the temperature gauge. I don't know, I call it a puck. It's a little sensor beacon thing that I can program to tell me the temperatures, and I've had it going every 10 minutes during this experiment. So again, it's 126 degrees in here as of the last reading. And they're hot. And I think I should silence my phone because I don't need texts interrupting my live. There we go. All right, so let's go inside and let's find out whether or not these things are broken. All right, so here we are inside. I'm going to switch to the forward camera again. Come on, switch. There we go. So here are the 10 EpiPens that have returned to room temperature. As you can see, they're labeled alphabetically from Q to Z. The ones on the dashboard were from A to H or whatever. These ones are also labeled with lowercase letters, and the numbers or the letters correspond. They are matched pairs. They are original pairs that were together, so that way I'm accounting for any expiration differences. All right, kiddo, should I start with the hot ones or the room temperature ones?
The hot ones, so they don't cool off too much.
Good idea. Okay, I'm going to hand this off so you can all get a good view. And I'll just go backwards through the alphabet. Where's Z? There's Z. All right. So, let's find out. And my fingers are clear. All right, Z worked. Yep, I didn't hit the towel. I am too high. It's all right. Y Y works. X. You'll also notice how quickly these things are firing. You really don't have to jab an EpiPen. They will fire just pressing them. W. W works. What's next? V. V worked. U worked. Anyone who's worried, these are all expired, by the way. T worked. S worked. R worked. And Q worked. All right, so the ones that were hot when I fired them, just aim up right there for a sec, those all fired. So halfway through so far, it appears that the break point is probably somewhere between 130 and 180 degrees. All right, let's go for the ones that have cooled off in case melted plastic has solidified into a bad position. All right, Z fires. Y fires. X fires, although that didn't shoot as far. Was it just because it hit the table? W fires. V fires. U fires. T fires. S fires. R fires. And Q. Alright, all 20 of these pens fired. So, there they all are. Alright, so, again, I'm so sorry I don't have the video of more than half of them failing, the ones that were on the dashboard. But at least it's reassuring to know that through the temperatures that are more like the way a user would have their EpiPen in the car, the pens are still firing. But I'm going to remind you that numerous studies have said that epinephrine is denatured in heat, and that can happen even at relatively low hot temperatures. So just because all these pens fired doesn't mean they all had full doses, even if they had not been expired. There is a very good chance that you would only get a partial dose if you had to use one of these pens. Partial's better than nothing if it's all you got, but don't keep your EpiPens in the car. Absolutely important not to do that. All right, well, we know that the break point is somewhere between 130 and 195. I'm curious where it is. I'm not sure if I can find out where it is. We'll have to see what other conditions I can subject this to. But this is reassuring to know that at least the pens should fire at this point in time. So thanks for tuning in today. If our experiments are useful to you, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It would just help us keep this sort of thing going. It's really simple, patreon.com/allergysuperheroes. We've got lots of patron-only content where you can just help us out just a little bit every month, and then you get exclusive content as well. So thanks for tuning in, and I have more expired EpiPens that I plan to do more experiments on. 2 weeks from now, next Wednesday, the 24th, I'm thinking of doing something else. I haven't decided what experiment yet. I will keep you informed. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.